Good afternoon, y'all. Meteorologist Blake Matthews here alongside Chief Meteorologist David Paul. I'm smiling big this afternoon, and that can only mean one thing. It means that it's about to get cold, and it's about to get very cold for very early in the season. So I want you guys to be prepared for the possibility of not one but two freezes, especially if you live north of I-10. So here's a look at the temperatures right now. Again, that blue norther is working its way through Texas very, very quickly. It is now 37 degrees in Dallas. If you watched me at the noon show, they were in the upper 60s. That goes to show you how cold this air mass is as it makes its way into southeast Texas. Lubbock right now sitting at 28 degrees. Now this is the most amazing part. Lubbock right now is almost 50 degrees colder than just 24 hours ago. 39 degrees colder in Amarillo, 37 degrees colder there in Dallas. You get the idea. These kind of departures are what we can expect here locally as we get into the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow morning. I'll give you a nickel if you can find the front. Very easy to spot. 74 degrees at Bush Airport right now versus 51 in College Station. Your front just getting ready to push through Huntsville. It is just passed through Brenham as we speak, and Columbus is next up there. So if you're out there in Colorado County, expect your temperatures to tank very hard in about the next hour. Tomball, Cypress, those of you out towards Lake Conroe and Montgomery, you guys are also going to see your temperatures drop very rapidly within about the next hour or so. There's a look at the radar. Not a whole lot going on here locally. A smattering of sprinkles out there towards Lake Conroe, but as we expand the view, look what happens. Something catches your attention, doesn't it? Yes, it does. It's that pink and white area out towards San Angelo, a little bit of green out here towards Austin, out towards Del Rio. That pink and that white is building to the south and east. That is wintry precipitation. And yes, I'm here to tell you there is a small chance that we could see some wintry weather in the city of Houston as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into the very early hours tomorrow morning. Whatever falls from the sky won't be a big deal, but it will certainly make you go, isn't that interesting? But we are not looking for roadway issues, at least at this moment. We will continue to keep an eye on that, but the bottom line is this is a very cold air mass for this time of year. And if and only if it snows and or sleets at Bush Intercontinental Airport tonight, it will be the earliest snowfall ever observed in the city of Houston. As we expand the view, we've got snow falling from the Great Lakes down through Detroit into Indianapolis. They're picking up heavy snow right now, Chicago through St. Louis, and that snow stretches all the way back almost to Oklahoma City. And again, we're seeing a little bit of pink and white showing up there just to the west and southwest of Dallas. And it is possible, again, that we could see a few snow flurries and or ice pellets here in the city of Houston overnight tonight. Take a look at the temperatures nationwide. David Paul put this perfectly, and I couldn't agree more. I don't want you just necessarily to focus on the numbers. Yes, they're very, very cold. 9 in International Falls, 8 in Bismarck, 19 in North Platte and Omaha, 26 in Oklahoma City. But I want you to look at the shape. And the shape is very interesting. And the reason why cold air is very dense, it's very heavy, and it kind of moves under its own weight. And you can see, look where the bulge is. Right down into the heart of Texas. And it is diving straight south towards Brownsville. When you have that kind of setup, that is a very strong indication that we are about to get very cold here and likely record-breaking as we get into the next couple of days for the city of Houston. Not only could we see record-breaking overnight low temperatures, but we could also see record-breaking daytime high temperatures as far as how cold it could be in heading into the afternoon. Here's a look at the forecast model. This takes us into this evening. You'll notice our temperatures drop very quickly. This model taking us to 33 degrees as we wake up tomorrow morning. 27 degrees in Dallas, 21 in Oklahoma City, 11 in Chicago. And look what happens. By noon tomorrow, Chicago's still sitting at 17 degrees. Unbelievable for this time of year. 35 in Dallas, and we are only at 41 degrees. Warming up maybe to those mid-40s, and that's about it. Now, as we wake up Wednesday morning, the model getting us to 30 here in the city of Houston, although there are indications now. The newer data coming in takes us even lower. We're talking about mid-20s possible for a wide swath of southeast Texas, and we'll give you details on that coming up in just a second. So it's going to be a cold couple of days. There's your front, pushing right on through the Houston area as we speak. It's moving through our northwest counties right now, but that Arctic cold is really going to build in here for the next couple of days. Here's a close look at how all this plays out. This is the NAM model, the North American model. At 5 o'clock, and you notice that the front is pushing through Houston at that time. But what I want you to pay attention to is the possibility of a little bit of wintry weather. Now here it comes. This is 2:30 in the morning, so I don't want to encourage you to stay up all night and look out the window. Now, if it were me, I would, but this is not going to be one of those blockbuster events. If it happens, it will be a flake or a sleet pellet, but that is about it. It's possible. That's all we're saying. It's possible. But look at this. The NAM builds it all the way into Harris County, through Montgomery County, into Austin and Colorado and Washington, Waller, even getting into Fort Bend County. Now, this takes us into 7:30 tomorrow morning. Look at that. The snow and the sleet possible still for a large chunk of southeast Texas, mainly west and northwest of downtown Houston. If you are east or southeast of there, I think the precipitation will end before the atmosphere gets cold enough really to produce much in the way of wintry weather. But we will continue to keep a very close eye on it because it is certainly a possibility. Now, the big story will continue to be not only the cold temperatures, but the wind and the wind chill. There is a wind advisory in effect for most of southeast Texas. We're going to see very gusty winds as this front races through the area. So here we go at 5 o'clock. You'll notice we're already in the 40s out there in our northwest counties. 61 at Bush, likely too warm. I think this front is going to pass through there before 6 o'clock. Or 5 o'clock, I should say. 66 degrees in Pasadena, 71 degrees in Galveston. But look how quickly we drop down into the 40s, eventually the 30s. We're at 33 at Bush Airport, 32 in Tomball, 31 in Conroe, 30 in Huntsville and College Station, 32 degrees all the way down towards West Columbia, Bay City, El Campo, and Columbus. So possible that many of us could see freezing temperatures tonight. Now, I did ask the National Weather Service if we were going to see some freeze warnings. They said not tonight because a lot of areas that will see a freeze tonight have already frozen so far this season. But tomorrow night is when we can expect some hard freeze warnings for a large chunk of southeast Texas and freeze warnings possibly all the way down to the coast. By tomorrow afternoon, we only warm up marginally to those low to mid 40s. And then we are right back in it as we wake up at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. You'll notice 20s, mid-20s, and some lower 30s out there as well. Here's more of a general idea as to what we're expecting aside from model data. 24 is what we're going with in Huntsville. This is Wednesday morning. 25 in Conroe, 27 in the Woodlands, 26 in Navasota and Hempstead, Sealy and Columbus also at 26. Livingston out there in Polk County could also see mid-20s. Right now, we're kind of thinking 30 in Houston, but actually, we may actually take that down a degree or two here in the city of Houston. So upper 20s for Houston, 27 in Katy, 29 in Sugar Land, 30 in Pearland, and even Galveston getting in on the action at 36 degrees. Basically, if you are along and north of this pink line, that's where you can expect the coldest weather and the best chance of a freeze. The only people that are going to escape the freeze are going to be if you're standing on the beach itself and or on Galveston Island. That would be the only people, the only areas in southeast Texas that will escape a freeze, it looks like. I think most of us are in for a very cold morning on Wednesday. So here's how it all pans out. 44 for our daytime high heading into tomorrow after a morning start of 33. 46 degrees on Wednesday after a morning start of 30. Likely going to be a little colder than that. We're going to update this here momentarily. 48 degrees on Thursday, 59 on Friday, and then finally getting back to relatively warmer temperatures, still well below normal for this time of year, with temperatures in the low to mid 60s getting into the weekend and into early next week. So again, bundle up. How you're going to want to prepare? Well, you're going to want to protect the backflow preventers of your sprinkler systems. That's the little pipe that comes out of the ground next to the house. You're also going to want to protect the tender plants, but this is not a pipe bursting freeze as far as the pipes in your house. You're not going to have to worry about those tonight, but again, backflow preventers and tender vegetation are certainly going to need some attention as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow night. We'll have a lot more on the very cold temperatures headed our way coming up today on the 411 beginning at 4.